Hey, welcome back to the podcast, the Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. I'm your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince, and today is Tuesday. I'm doing an episode because I was unable to do an episode yesterday due to I was coughing a lot and my voice was a little shoddy. I didn't want to cough and annoy you with the scratchy voice, so it's it's a little bit better today. So I was like, yeah, I'll do an episode today, and I'll do an episode on Wednesday, so everybody gets an episode and they're up to date and all those other wonderful things. So I got an email, today. Let me just pull up that email. Oh, before we do that, if your first time here, don't forget that like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of your favorite podcast catchers, just hit follow and rate it if you can. It's up to you, but ask the DM at theevildm.com is my email address, and also theevildm.com is my website. You can donate by going to ko-fi.com/theevildm and leave a small donation. You can also pick up, no, that's not out yet. Anyway, I got an email from Tom who said, could you go over a classic creature such as Medusa? All right, Tom, not a problem. Again, ask the DM at theevildm.com. You can send in an email address. Yeah, thank you. Send in a question or a show topic or something about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and I will try to cover it for you. You can also hit me up on Twitter. So Medusa, pretty classic monster, so it's an excellent check. It's on page 66. I love the picture. It's actually a really cool picture of Medusa. She kind of looks like a witch, but frequency is rare, and number appearing is 1 to 3. Armor class is 5, movement is 9 inches. Hit dice is 6. It's 50% chance in lair, and treasure types PQ times 10. That's X. No, it is times 10. X and then Y. She only gets 1 attack. Damage is 1 to 4, but as we all know, Medusa, the famous creature, has gaze turns to stone and poison. People forget about the poison part. No special defenses. Magic resistance is standard, which I would think would be a little bit more, but it is standard if that. Intelligence is vary. She is lawful evil, medium-sized or man-sized, nothing else. Medusae, they call it Medusae. Medusae, are hateful humanoid creatures which dwell in the dark coves or caverns, venturing forth on occasion to seek prey. They try to beguile humans to look into their eyes. The gaze of Medusa will turn creatures within 3 inches, about 30 feet, 30 feet because it usually is indoor, to turn to stone unless they make their saving throw versus petrification. If an opponent averts his eyes, the Medusa rushes up so that its asp-like head growth can bite at the victim. The range of such attacks is only 1 foot. And the victim bitten must save versus poison or die. So not only do you take 4 points of damage, you still die anyway because of the poison if you fail. Let's see here. If the Medusa's gaze is reflected back, the creature will turn itself into stone. Medusae speak both their tongue and the common one. Medusae are able to see astral and ethereal creatures, and their petrifying gaze is as effective as those planes as it is on the material plane. So regardless of where it is, her gaze is going to get you. Description. The body of a Medusa appears quite shapely and human. They typically wear human clothing. All over the face is a horrid visage, and its snaky hair rise. Yeah. So at a close distance, about 20 feet, this gives the creature away. The glaring red-rimmed eyes of a Medusa are visible clearly at 30 feet. Now, we've seen this in classic movies over time, how Medusas do this or that. And I remember the last show that I saw Medusa in was, that show, Sleepy Hollow. If you remember that show that was on Fox about the Headless Horseman and Ichabod Crane, that went off in crazy directions with the whole entire legend of Sleepy Hollow and how everything revolved around him and knowing everybody in the Revolutionary War. But anyway, I regress. They actually had an encounter with a Medusa in there. And it followed pretty much the same thing as it follows right here, except for the poison part with the asps on her head. Now, a lot of lore does not, or movies, TV show, does not really speak about them. And probably they mostly fall back onto a Gorgon usually. A lot of the TV shows usually follow that with 3 monstrous sisters with Medusa, that they usually fall on those things. So they kind of leave out a lot of things that were involved with the whole mystery and the whole legend of the Gorgons, the 3. They just use the Greek mythology. Now AD&D went further and just gave you the Medusa with the stone gaze as well as the poison asps. So I was thinking about ways you can use this monster in your campaign. And I was thinking the Medusa's petrifying gaze can be used to be set up deadly ambushes. Like you can, if you happen to kill her, and I would do this too, like we did in the movie Clash of the Titans, when he actually took the head off of the Medusa or the Gorgon, he was able to continue using it with the gaze feature when it came to facing it to the creature or anybody for that matter. I would actually allow that because I thought that was a really cool idea to use when the creature is dead, so it's not completely useless and the danger is not over completely. So, I don't know. That's something to think about. While I was also thinking about ways to use this creature, like I said, the Medusa's petrifying gaze could be set up deadly ambushes where the players can set the head of the Medusa up to guard an entranceway, and if someone tries to strike, get them in the middle of the night, the monster or whatever walks in the room, boom, sees the Medusa, and they're petrified, stone right there. Now, obviously, you can use mirrors and stuff like that to get back at a Medusa and look at a Medusa as long as you don't look her directly in the eyes. Now, I was trying to think of other ways to use her. Now, one of the ones I was thinking about was she could be an urban legend in the city, and she could stalk the city, kind of like a Jack the Ripper type situation. And she would use something like, a disguise ring or disguise spell so you can't see her true form. And you have to figure out who she is. And she only reveals that when she goes to stalk her prey. Maybe she could be wearing some pair of, maybe pretends she's a blind woman walking around. And then at night, she stalks people with her blindfold off. Or maybe the blindfold is just a fake blindfold that she could see through, but you can't see through. And she's around this town, and you have to figure out who this person is. Or maybe that there is a cursed artifact or relic that has been corrupted by her influence, and players have to find a way to break the curse and restore the item because there's a cult that worships Medusa, and they're trying to take over the town or something through Medusa's whatever. There's just different ways to do that. I'm trying to think of other ways to use her that'd be really inventive. Obviously, if players are going up against a Medusa, they would not be able to look at her directly, so they would get some negatives to attacking because they can't look their target directly in the whatever, because anytime they accidentally look at her eyes, boom, stone, they're gone, or they could be gone, because it's anytime you look at her. So this is kind of like a classic creature that is part of the whole old school D&D save or die thing, because if she doesn't get you with her gaze, she's going to get you with the snakes. She's going to run up to your face and then hit you with the snakes, and save versus poison, and if you don't save, you are dead. So I like the fact that they have these deadly creatures like that, and if you are going up against a deadly creature that you know has like some type of legends behind it, and your character should be given the chance to figure out these legends of these creatures where they're going. Now, obviously, if they stumble upon it because they're in a cave or something and they're going after some type of magical item, and they hear they see the shadow of the creature on the wall of Medusa. They hear the snakes and they see the slithering body. Actually, no, this Medusa, they say, is a human body, not actually a snake body. But they could see the body and they see the snake outline, and you should give them a chance to review some, maybe give them like an intelligence check and let them think maybe they heard something in the past about it. Generally, people hear things about these legends of these type of creatures as they're an adventurer, so give them a chance. But if they know they're going up against a Medusa and they know all about a Medusa, well, you're not going to have a chance to run. If it's one of those situations when you stumble upon her and you get to figure out it's one of her, you do an oh shit run because of the OSR, oh shit run, because that's what it stands for. Anyway, tell me how you would use a Medusa in your campaign. I like this creature a lot. I like Medusa creatures a lot. I've used Medusa creatures quite often for a party, though I've not actually turned people into stone. A couple characters I have, but generally what I have done when I've placed Medusas inside of campaigns or inside of a dungeon, so to speak, I will have had the characters find some type of magical item that will reverse the petrification of stone. Now, the poison thing, oh well, you're instantly dead, so you're going to have to get resurrected or raised or whatever you're going to need to do. So, remember, AD&D is deadly, so these are the things you have to contend with. AD&D and basic D&D are not something to laugh at. I believe 2nd edition might have similar rules because they fell under the TSR era of deadliness, but I can't quote that. I was never really a 2nd edition player too much. I'll leave that to Thackle Thoughts with Rob on his podcast here on the channels of the Evil DM on YouTube. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night, and God bless everybody. Keep those AD&D's fires lit.